Hi everybody, happy Tuesday and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Live at 5:30. I am super excited to share with you today some really cute projects featuring the absolutely stunning Beauty Abounds bundle from the Occasions catalog. So I'll show you where you can find that in the catalog. It's on page 13, okay? It's a full page dedicated to this gorgeous bundle. So the bundle features a stamp set, which has some awesome images. We're gonna use a whole bunch of the images, actually pretty much all of the images in this, as well as some sentiments. So again, it's a great one for new stampers who don't have a lot or want to invest a lot. Has images and sentiments, okay? Awesome investment. And then it also has a beautiful, stunning, huge 20-piece die set, okay? Now, both the stamp set and the dies are available in a bundle for 10% off. So you can get the bundle here in Canada for $75.50, which right now until the end of March qualifies you for a celebration freebie. So you want to get this ordered before the end of March so that you can get your free celebration item. Okay, all right. Oh, hi April, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. It's nice to see you back. So I'm going to show you just what the stamp set looks like. There it is, okay, and here is that amazing die set. Hi Elfie, how are you? Hope you're having a good week. The dies are amazing, okay? I'm going to show you how they work. There are two sets of these sort of butterfly groupings. So there's one here and then a second one here. And these are actually designed to layer on top of each other. And we're actually going to do a card that does, I'll show you how that works. And then there are all sorts of other smaller butterflies. There's a great little sort of flourish or vine and then a little sprig here. It is an awesome die set. So 20 dies in that set, which is just fantastic. All right, we're going to get this out of the way. Oh, before I go any further, I also need to mention that we're going to use several sentiments from this stamp set. So this is called Strong and Beautiful. This is fast becoming one of my favorite sentiment sets because it has so many awesome sentiments. Now, this is kind of targeted at women. It's got Happy Mother's Day, God made you my mother, love made you my friend, but there are also a whole lot of sentiments that work for anyone. So you're amazing, that's a fact. You've truly been a shining example to me. I cherish you, my true friend. I know I can always count on you. Amazing sentiments for just about anyone. Now that stamp set is on page 48 of the Occasions catalog, so way near the back, okay? And that stamp set runs at $34, okay? That's a cling stamp, which means you're gonna get really nice clear images and they're gonna be super sticky and stay on your blocks. Oh, hi Michelle, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. All right, so we're gonna get right to it. These are the projects we're gonna make. We're gonna start with this cute Mother's Day card. So I'll get these out of the way. And we're going to get right to it. So I'm going to set that out of the aside and pull out all my little bits and bobs here and all my goodies out of my basket. And away we go. All right. So I am going to start with this background panel. I've already gone ahead and embossed this just in the interest of time. This is a piece of Highland Heather cardstock. It's cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I've run it through my Big Shot using the dynamic basket weave embossing folder, and it really does give an awesome woven look to that cardstock. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and apply a piece of the Gingham Gala paper. Now this is coming back in stock before too long. Hi Debbie, how you doing? Hope you're having a good week. So if you have not yet ordered this or you are waiting for it, it's on a back order. They will be shipping soon. I actually was chatting with someone in demonstrator support today and they said it is due back this week. So hopefully we will be seeing some shipments going out very, very soon. So I'm using the smaller gingham pattern on my card here, and I'm going to glue this down about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, okay? So again, I like to use my grid paper to get my pieces straight here. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my little doily on the bottom. That's okay. This is one of the pearlized doilies, and these are actually a celebration freebie right now as well. These are part of the 3rd release for celebration. So if you miss the fact that we have a 3rd release, this is your newsflash. You're going to want to check it out. You can actually get 2 packs of these doilies. There's 24 in a pack. So that's 48 pearlized doilies for free during celebration. Okay. So what I did is I just cut it in half, and then I glued it to the bottom of my gingham. Now, because I've already gone ahead and glued that down, we can fix. There is no problem we can't fix. So I'm going to take and just tuck that in underneath there, like that. And that's going to sit right there. Look at that. Told you we can fix it. All right, we'll get that out of the way. And then I can go ahead and glue this onto my card base. So my card base is 4 by 11 inches. Again, it's Highland Heather, and I've scored it in the middle at 5.5. So I'm going to fold that in half along my score line. Now, I'm going to ask a question. I have heard there's sort of two camps of stampers. Some people really like it when the fold is pre-scored for you, makes it easier to fold. Others do not like it. They like to have a pristine piece of cardstock that they can fold and crisp up with their bone folder themselves. So my question for you is, this is my informal Facebook Live poll, which do you prefer? Do you prefer having your card bases pre-scored for you so that you can fold them easily, or do you prefer no score line and just folding them by hand? So you can comment and tell me what you think, and then I'll read them back after. Okay, so I'm going to take and apply a little bit of adhesive to the back of my basket weave panel here. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto my card base. And yes, Debbie, I know it's upside down. It's all good. We'll stick that down right there. Okay. And then we're going to set that aside because we're going to do some stamping. So here I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I've die cut using the Stitched Rectangles framelits. So if you haven't got these yet, you definitely need to get them. They are absolutely awesome. I am completely addicted to them. They're fantastic for just adding just the slightest little bit of detail. I've had people say, oh, you know, I can cut rectangles by hand. And that's true, you can, but you can't get this cool little score or stitched effect around the edge. And it just adds so much. I didn't have to put a layer behind this card or this panel because I have that stitch detail. It just adds a lot to your design. I just was doubting myself that I'd cut the right size there. Okay, so now I'm going to use this little spatter image. So this is from the Beauty Abounds stamp set. And I've got some powder pink ink. And I'm just going to take and very lightly add some spatters just to that panel. Okay, I'm not doing too much. I don't want to overdo it. Maybe I'll do a couple up in that corner. Okay, just adding a little bit of texture there. Then we're going to set that aside. And then I'm going to come in with some soft seafoam ink and this large bubble image. So there are two bubble images in the stamp set. Okay, there's a large and a small one. And I've had people kind of look at these and go, what do you do with that? Well, let me show you. You can do some pretty cool things. So I'm going to ink it up with some soft seafoam. And again, I'm just going to very lightly stamp. I'm turning my stamp so it's not, the images are not all going the same direction. Okay, and just adding some little bubbles. Isn't that awesome texture? Now, if you know me, you know I love adding texture with stamps, so you can understand why this stamp set excites me just a little. So now I'm going to take my small bubble image and some Highland Heather ink, and again, I'm going to add some more bubbles. Now, there really is no wrong way to do this, okay? You can add as many or as few bubbles as you like, okay? Just creating an interesting textured background. And then we're going to take this flourish image. I love this image. I have been using it a lot this week as I've been playing with this set. So I'm going to pull out my smoky slate ink and ink up my stamp. And I'm going to stamp my flourish kind of coming up over top of those bubbles. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a little bit more at the top there just to kind of finish it off. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to come in with these two little butterfly images. So we sort of have a profile. I'll show you on the finished card. This one's kind of like a sideways butterfly. And then we have a smaller one that is straight on. So we're going to stamp a few of those. So we'll do one of the profile butterflies there. Oh, this ink pad's getting dry. I don't know what it is. Every ink pad I've used in the last couple of weeks has been dry. It must be just that time. Okay, just adding a few cute little butterflies. And that's it. How easy was that? Okay, really quick and simple. So now we can go ahead and glue that onto our card. So we're going to put a little bit of fast fuse on there. And we'll pop that on. Now this you want to try to center on your cardstock, okay? It's going to be fairly close to the bottom of your gingham. Use the squares on your gingham to help get it straight, okay? Just like that. Okay, All right, next up we have a little strip here of white cardstock. This is 4 inches by 3/4, okay? And I'm taking the Happy Mother's Day sentiment from that Strong and Beautiful stamp set. And I'm gonna stamp that in Smoky Slate. And we'll just stamp that sort of right in the middle. Okay. Then I'm gonna add a few more little bubbles. I just wanted it to sort of work with the background. So I'm going to take and do a few little Highland Heather bubbles. And then we'll also add a few of the soft seafoam ones. And I kind of have them all going the same direction just so they kind of look like they're floating sort of across the label there. All right, now we're going to notch the ends of our strip. And again, I'm going to show you my little trick using the tailored tag punch. Okay. This is just because I'm lazy and I don't like trimming them by hand. Hi, Anne. How are you? So I'm going to slide this in. And when I go to use this, I always look to see where my sentiment, I slide it until I can see my stamped image. And then I back it off a little bit. And that just kind of gives me an idea of how close I am to that sentiment, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other end. So I'm gonna go in as far as the sentiment goes and then back it off and punch, okay? And there's my nice even banner ends that I didn't have to cut by hand. Call me lazy, what can I say? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and glue that right across that bottom panel there, okay? Just like that. So we're gonna put a couple of glue dots on there. Not glue dots, what are these called? Dimensionals. I'm always thinking 2 steps ahead of what I'm doing. I do the same thing when I'm teaching at school. And sometimes my brain gets ahead of what I'm saying and I don't make any sense. So my kids kind of look at me like I'm losing my mind, which is a distinct possibility teaching high school. All right, so I'm going to glue this down just across the bottom of my panel there, okay? And then we're going to tie a bow. So this is your weekly bow tying lesson, in case you missed it. This is a little bit of that beautiful organdy ribbon that was part of Celebration, which unfortunately now is sold out, but it matches my card perfectly, so I'm still using it. So I'm going to take my ribbon, I'm going to hold it between my thumb and index finger on each hand, okay? Then I'm going to pinch to make 2 little loops using my thumb and my index finger, okay? So I'm holding my loops, they are flat, I haven't let anything twist. Okay, I'm going to take my left loop, cross it over my right, and then bring that loop through the hole that I've created and pull it tight. Okay, now is that a pretty bow? No, it is not. Never give up on your bows. Okay, you play with them and tease them until you get the bow that you had in mind when you started to tie. So we're going to adjust the size of our loops, pull at the tails, pull the knot tight until you get something that you are happy with. Okay, and then we're just going to trim our tails. 1 and 2, and then that is going to go onto our card with a little glue dot. Hi Heather, how's the weather in Florida? I hear it's rainy today. The Blue Jays game got canceled. That's how I know it's rainy. So we're going to stick that right onto the front of our card like that. Okay, and then the last little touch on this one is to add a few of the sequins. So these are the basic self-adhesive sequins, and I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I'm just going to pick up a couple. Now I'm kind of choosing the ones that have a little bit more of a pinky hue. The cool thing is that depending when you look at them or which angle, I don't know if that shows up on the camera. Can you see that? Let's see. Can you see how the color kind of changes? They're pink or they're green. So we're just going to take and apply a couple of those to the front of our card. And it's funny. Oh, I got a bonus one here. Let's just stick that back down on there. It's funny how once you stick them down the card, they look different than they did on the sheet of sequins. They just sort of adapt to the colors of the card. Okay, I love these sequins. They're so iridescent. They go with pretty much everything. All right, that is that. How quick and easy was that Mother's Day card? Now, this could easily be a birthday card. Just switch out the sentiment to a happy birthday, and this would make a beautiful spring birthday card as well. Okay, now I'll just show you on the original what I did on the inside. I stamped the same images that I use on my front panel on the inside panel, and then I added another sentiment. This is one of my favorites from the Strong and Beautiful set. To the woman who does it all with grace and wisdom. I think it's just a beautiful sentiment, especially for Mother's Day. Okay, so that's one done and done. Let me clean up my mess here. I need to clean a couple stamps. Actually, I forgot to wet my Simply Chamois, so I'm resorting to good old-fashioned baby wipes. So we're just going to give these a quick wipe because I'm going to use them again on another stamp, or another card rather. Get these all cleaned up and out of the way. There we go. Alrighty. You ready for card number 2? I hope so. Next one we're going to do is this beauty. I had so much fun with the bubbles stamps on this. I kind of went a little overboard, but I actually was starting out to just do something really subtle and simple, and I just couldn't stop stamping those bubbles. So it was something a whole lot busier than I kind of originally planned, but it's kind of fun when you have those happy accidents, right? So let's just pull out all of these little bits and bobbies here. And away we go. So this time I am starting with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. So this is going to be my main panel. So this is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, that's going to be my front panel here. And I'm working horizontally. Okay, my card is going to be horizontal. Now, sometimes you actually end up with better results if you stamp it this way and then turn it afterwards. It's up to you what works best for you. So I'm going to need my bubble stamps. And I'm going to start with the Smoky Slate. Okay, so I'm taking my Smoky Slate ink and my large bubble. This is still wet from the baby wipe. And I'm going to ink it up, and I'm just going to stamp a whole bunch of bubbles. And again, really important to keep turning your stamp so that your bubbles don't all go the same way. Okay, you don't want your bubbles to be uniform. Okay, bubbles are random. Okay, so that is layer number 1. Then I'm going to come in with some Coastal Cabana, and I'm actually going to use the same stamp. I'm going to stamp this off really well. And, oh, here's another dry ink pad. And I'm going to add some Coastal Cabana bubbles. And don't worry, you're going to stamp right over the Smoky Slate ones. That's okay. Okay, we're just building up a textured foundation here for our card. Okay, let me add a couple more there. That looks good. Next, I'm going to come in with some Bermuda Bay. Okay, so my color palette for this was Smoky Slate, Coastal Cabana, and Bermuda Bay. And then I'm going to come in with the small bubbles. And I'm going to add a bunch more. And it's just amazing to me how these images layer and create such awesome texture. I mean, seriously, is that not fantastic? I love it. It makes me happy. This stamp set makes me very, very happy. Okay, so there is my background. We're gonna get this out of the way. That's all there is to it. That's all I did. Like, so simple. Then I'm going to take a layer that I'm going to put behind it. So this is Bermuda Bay cardstock. It is cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So when I layer this, it's going to have a very narrow border. It's like a 1/16 of an inch border. Okay. So we're going to put a bit of fast fuse on there. Come on. Is anybody else really hoping they come out with a fast fuse replacement in the new annual catalog? I sure am. I am running very dangerously low on my fast fuse supply, and I will cry if they don't come out with something new. Hi Judith, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. Okay, so there is my mat, and then that is going to get glued onto my card base. This is a Whisper White card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. Okay, and I'm going to fold that again on my score line. And we're going to glue that front panel onto our card base. Just like that. Okay, easy peasy. All right, let's get that out of the way. We are going to stamp our sentiment. So this sentiment is taken from the Beauty Abounds stamp set. It says, a friend is someone who chooses you. So we're going to stamp that in basic gray ink. I wanted it to be a little bit darker to stand out from my background. This is just a scrap piece of white cardstock. Can you see that? I keep forgetting I need to stamp higher on my grid paper so you guys can see. So I've stamped my sentiment, and then I'm going to use this awesome story label punch. So this is part of the Celebration Coordination promotion that is on till the end of the month. Now, this punch is a different punch. It's a different shape. We have nothing like this in our regular offering, and it fits a ton of sentiments. It's quite a long label, so you can get a lot inside this shape. So I'm going to center my image inside my window there and pop it right out. Get rid of that. And then I'm going to add a few more bubbles, just like I did on the Mother's Day card. So I'm going to pull in a little bit of Coastal Cabana. Make sure I'm still in Coastal Cabana for that one. So we'll add just a couple up there and maybe a couple down the bottom. Why not? Like that. Okay. Oh, I hate autocorrect here, Judith. I can't even tell you how many times I have made a fool of myself trying to send texts to people or Facebook messengers and ended up looking like I don't know how to type or spell. All right, so there is my label. Super simple. Now, if I just put this onto here, it's not bad. It shows up kind of, but I wanted to do something to sort of make it stand out from the background. So the first thing I did is I took a 1 3/4 inch circle. So this is punched with my 1 3/4 inch circle punch. It's punched from Bermuda Bay cardstock. And I'm going to layer that just behind that label. Isn't that great? The way that just layers behind there, and it just makes that label pop that much more. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down and try and get it centered. I realized after the fact that I didn't use Tombow, which is my friend when I'm trying to center things. Okay, so that again looks pretty good. It certainly pops better than it did with just the white label, but I wanted to draw even more attention to this lovely sentiment. So I used a little bit of our Bermuda Bay mini striped ribbon. I love this ribbon. I really hope it sticks around for another year in the new annual catalog. If it doesn't, I'm sure they'll come up with something awesome. But so this is how I use this ribbon on this card. So I put a little bit of adhesive on the back. I use fast fuse. You could use snail or glue dots. You need something strong. Tear and tape would also work. And then I laid my ribbon across, and I'm basically making a Z. So here's the bottom of my Z. I'm going to bend it and come across at an angle, and then bend it and come back across at an angle. Okay. That is how you're going to get that sort of messy ribbon look, okay? So then I'm going to trim this at an angle, and there you go. Okay, did you see how I did that? Do I have any? They have not said. They said it might carry over, Heather. They have not confirmed one way or the other. I really hope it does, because it is an awesome punch. And like I said, it's a nice big label shape, so I hope it carries over. All right, so I'm going to put a few dimensionals on the back of my label. Hi, Sonia. How are you? Hope you're having a good week. So there is my label. Now I'm ready to put it onto the front of my card. So again, straight is usually preferable. Not always, but usually. So I'm going to put it on right about there. Okay. Now, to finish this off, I have a few little butterflies. Now, I did go ahead and die cut these ahead of time. Now, I have a hot tip for you. I think I shared this a couple of weeks ago, but I discovered that our basic gray classic ink does not bleed when you use it with the Stampin' blends. Okay, that is exciting news to me, because sometimes it's nice to have a softer stamped image when you're coloring with the blends. So the basic gray does not run. Okay, so I stamped these little guys in basic gray, die cut them using the Butterfly Beauty dies, okay, the coordinating dies with the stamp set, and then I'm going to go ahead and color them. So here I have my light Bermuda Bay. So I'm going to start with this big butterfly first, and I kind of colored the back wing here. I'm not doing any shading because these are really teeny tiny images, so I didn't really worry about shading anything. And then I'm going to color this part of the wing. Okay, and then just a little bit here. Just fill that in. Okay, and then I'm going to fill in the rest of the butterfly using my dark Pool Party. Okay, these colors, Coastal Cabana, Pool Party, Bermuda Bay, they just all work so perfectly together. I love the different shades of the aqua or teal. They really make for some beautiful, I love cool colors. That's kind of my thing. Okay, so there's my large butterfly. And then I have two little guys here, and I'm just going to color them straight up with the Pool Party. I'm not going to worry about adding any dark on this one, but you certainly could, depending on how much detail you want to give them. But I'm trying to be quick here. So there's one, and we'll add a little bit of color to this guy. But look at how color fast that gray ink is. It does not bleed. Makes me so happy. All right, those are done. So to put these on my card, I'm going to pop them up with some dimensionals. But before I do that, we're going to add a little bit of sparkle. Because, you know, a video wouldn't be complete without me using Wink of Stella. So I'm going to just take and add some pretty sparkle. I really wish, I watched the videos back and I realized that this does not show up especially well on the camera. Let me see if I can move that closer. Can you see that sparkle on there? I don't know if you can see it or not. But it's just so pretty and shimmery. Wink of Stella is the most magical thing ever. I have to say, every time I use it in a class, anyone who doesn't already own it buys it because it's just so magical. I have people who don't own any other craft supplies, but they buy a Wink of Stella because they just want to add sparkle to whatever they have. I have some journalers who have bought them because they just want to add sparkle to their journals. Bible journalers too, who like to add sparkle. Okay, so that is that. And then we're going to add just a little dimensional on the back. So we'll do the big guy first. And I kind of did the big guy sort of on the label, okay, kind of up here. Like it's just sort of coming in for a landing on the label. And I ran out of minis, so I'm just going to trim a little bit of this. And we're going to add a little bit of the edge to my bitty butterflies. So I'll put one up here, and we'll grab another little bit, and we'll put that here. And we'll put this guy down here. Okay, and then the last little touch, what did I do with my pearls? There they are. We're going to add some little silver pearls. I am addicted to these metallic pearls. This is another one that I really hope sticks around in the new catalog because I think I might have to go for treatment if these go away because I love them so much. So we're just going to add a couple of little pearls. Again, just a reminder, when you are adding these kinds of little embellishments, work in odd numbers and you want to make a triangle, okay? Visually, that's what our eye likes to see. So you just pop them on wherever, but just think about making a triangle. Straight lines are not preferable. Squares are not preferable because that's not an odd number, okay? So 3s or 5s or 7s is visually pleasing, okay? So there's our finished card. And again, I will show you what I did on the inside of this one. So remember the front said, a friend is someone who chooses you. And the inside says, out of a whole world of people. Okay, love it. Yes, it is a comforting color combination, Heather. I agree. It really is. It's very soothing to me. I love this combo. This is actually the color scheme of my studio here. So if you ever come to classes at my studio, this is the color scheme you get, okay? Our walls are actually gray granite, and all my accents are Pool Party and Bermuda Bay. So there you go. All right, so card number 2 done. Get that out of the way. We can get these stamps out of the way, get some inks out of the way, and we're going to bring in card number 3. Grab my little bin here. All right. So now we finally get to use these beautiful dies. So this card is all about the die cuts, right? Super simple, but the dies make it a real wow. So let me show you how the dies work. So I have pre-die cut these again, and it's not because I don't want to show you the big shot. It's just in the interest of time, okay? So I can show you 3 cards and not have you watching until 7 o'clock tonight. Okay, so remember how I mentioned there are 2 different layers to the butterflies, okay? So 2 different dies. So this one was cut with this die, okay? It's got a more solid image, okay? That's your background layer. Then I cut with a lighter color. Now it doesn't have, you can do the opposite. You could do light and dark. It's entirely up to you. Or two totally different colors. They don't even have to be the same shade. But, so with the lighter color, I use this dye. Sorry, my throat is cutting out. We actually got new carpeting installed in my classroom over March break. And the fumes that are coming off of the new carpet, it's industrial grade, like nylon, whatever. It makes my throat burn after teaching in there all day. So forgive me if I get croaky. It's just not a good scene right now in my classroom. So that has nothing to do with stamping. So back to this. So I use this die that is going to layer over top of this one. I'm going to show you how that works. Okay. Now, before I die cut, I applied some of the multi-purpose adhesive sheets to my cardstock. That makes gluing on these detailed dies a piece o' cake. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. Now, I may get lucky or I may not. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and grab just the corner of this and peel it back. And you're going to see most of my bits, not all, but most of my bits are sticking to the backing sheet, which makes this quick and easy to do. Come on off there, you guys. Now, I used two pieces of multi-purpose adhesive, so I have to peel off two backings here. I was using up little scraps. That's the great thing about those adhesive sheets. You don't waste anything. You can use up all the little scraps by doing a patchwork on the back of your cardstock. It's great. Okay, just so you see how most of the bits came off. Okay, so now I'm just going to get rid of those last few. And because these are self-adhesive, I can just kind of press them onto my finger behind it and they just sort of pop off. Okay, and then I just peel them off into my trash bin. Come on, off you go, little guy. And I'll pick up the last few. And there's a couple that are stuck on the back, so we'll get rid of those. Again, clear off my fingers. Okay, but having those multi-purpose adhesive sheets just makes dealing with these detailed dies so much easier. So if you don't have those, that is something you need to get, those multi-purpose adhesive sheets. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I'm ready to layer this onto my background piece. Okay, so I tend to start down with this little guy at the bottom and get it lined up. Okay, so get that lined up, and this is going to layer perfectly. Okay, these are designed to layer absolutely precisely. So I'm gonna just layer that really carefully. Okay, and you see how this little antenna is off? You just bend it a little bit. Okay, sometimes they get bent a little bit when you're taking them out of the die. And then we're gonna glue this guy on. Now this is not quite where I want it. This is offset just a touch, so we're gonna slide that over. There we go. And glue that guy on. Okay, do you see how perfectly these layer? I mean, honestly, I love these dies. And the sad thing is, I just started playing with them this week. I've had them since January. Okay, I know it's wrong. It's wrong. Buy things and then don't play with them immediately, but there's only so many hours in the day. Okay, so there are my layered butterflies. Aren't they beautiful? Hi, Margie. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. Okay, now, if you look at my original, I didn't use all the butterflies, okay? So it is easy to trim some of these off and use them on other projects, okay? So I actually only used these bottom 3 butterflies. So these top 2, I'm gonna take and trim off. So this is easiest to do once you've layered them, okay? It's harder to do it with 2 separate pieces and then try to match them up. So this way, they're already layered, so I'm just gonna bring my snips in, and I'm gonna trim this guy right along there, okay? And then I'm gonna come around this side and do the same thing right there. Okay, so there are the 3 butterflies that I used. Now, when I was putting this card together, I had the 3 all connected, and then when I went to put my sentiment on, I was hiding this guy, and I didn't really like that. So I decided, nope, we're gonna trim him off too, and we're gonna pop him up on the front of my sentiment. So we're gonna take the snips, and we're gonna trim that off as well. All right. So now we have our three butterflies and we're ready to assemble our card. And really all that is left is assembly. We're gonna do a little bit of stamping, but The only stamping on this one is our sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and glue the large butterfly down, okay? And for this, I used just a little bit of Tombow. Now, you certainly could put adhesive sheet on this backing piece as well. It would make sticking this on a breeze. I didn't do that on here because there's quite a bit of surface area for you to apply some glue. So I tend to use the multi-purpose adhesive sheets on die cuts that are so intricate that applying glue is a pain in the neck. You know, when you get the glue ooze and it just is not pretty. So, but this one has quite a bit of surface area to apply that adhesive. So that's why I didn't use any on this one. So now I can go ahead and place this. And again, because I use the liquid glue, I have a bit of wiggle time, right? So I can kind of get this exactly where I want it. Now I want my butterflies to be pretty darn close to the top, okay? Right near the top of my panel. Now I should mention this cardstock piece, or this DSP piece, is from the Botanical Butterflies Celebration paper, okay? That is still available, that beautiful paper. This is the one that has the black and white butterflies on the back, and it has this beautiful sort of botanical print on the front. I love this print. I've been hoarding this paper. But I realized Celebration ends in 2 weeks, and less than 2 weeks, and I need to start using it. So there we have that, okay? Now we're gonna stamp our sentiment and punch it before we go any further here. So I have a scrap piece of white cardstock and my gorgeous grape ink. Oh, did I mention the colors on this? This is Highland Heather is the light, and the dark is gorgeous grape. Okay, those two colors were made for each other. They are just beautiful together. So try them if you haven't already done that. So I have another sentiment from the Strong and Beautiful stamp set. It says, "You have what it takes to be unstoppable, and I couldn't be more proud." Love that sentiment. So stamped it in the gorgeous grape, and then I'm going to take my 2-inch circle punch and pop that out. So just center it in the window, pop it out of there, and we'll get this out of the way. And then I have, dump these little guys out, a starburst. So this is the starburst punch. It's in the catalog, and it is designed to layer perfectly behind that 2-inch circle. Okay, this is one of my favorite layering combinations that's punched. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow, throw that on the back of my sentiment, and layer that on the starburst. And again, wiggling it to get it centered. Okay. Now, I added a little bit of greenery behind my sentiment just to accentuate it a little bit. So I die cut, again, using that, that sort of vine die that is in the Butterfly Beauty dies. And I cut 2 of them from Granny Apple Green cardstock. Now, this is Lemon Lime Twist, but again, talk about colors that work perfectly together. Lemon Lime Twist and Granny Apple Green are stunning together. Sadly, Lemon Lime Twist is retiring at the end of this catalog. I'm so sad. That's one color that I really hope comes back the next time we do a color renovation, because that is one of my absolute favorite colors. And I know I'm not alone in that, right? I'm sure many of you love that color as well. Okay, so now I've cut my little vines in half just to give me some more length, because they're not terribly long to go behind this 2-inch circle. I'm just going to take and put a glue dot on the front of one of the vines. And then I'm going to arrange them around my circle. Now I like having sort of the tendril kind of come around on the front of the circle. I like that look. So I'm just going to add a few more vines kind of here and there. And again, you don't want them to look too regular, right? You don't want them to be, no plant grows perfectly regularly. So you don't want them to look like you've planned it, even though you probably have. Okay, we'll add another one there. And I think we're going to put another guy here. On my original, I covered up one of my vines with my butterfly. We're not going to do that this time. So I'll just add this guy kind of down here. Okay, so there are my vines. Now I'm ready to go ahead and put that onto my panel. I'm going to add some dimensionals. Sorry, I'm a little sniffly. It's chilly down here. And you know what happens when your nose gets cold? It runs. I am over my sinus infection, thankfully. All right, so there is my panel, and now I'm going to go ahead and just add that beautiful sentiment right about there. Okay, and then I can go ahead and glue that onto my card base before I add my final butterfly. So again, these are all the same size card base today. So 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. makes it easy for you to remember my measurements today. And a little bit of fast fuse. And we'll stick this down. Just like that. Okay, now that's pretty just as it is, but again, our eye likes odd numbers, right? And I have this pretty little butterfly here, so we're going to add to that little butterfly just sort of to the bottom of the sentiment there. And what I did is I took my bone folder and I just curled the wings ever so slightly. Okay, and that, can you see the dimension that that gives to the butterfly? It looks like it's just about to flutter off my fingers there. And to put this on, I actually took and trimmed a skinny little mini, oh, that's not even skinny enough. Let's do that again. Just an itty bitty little piece of a dimensional, and it's going to go right on the body of the butterfly, right about there. Okay, it's got to hide. We don't want to see it, right? So just a teensy little guy there, and then that is going to pop right on there. So it looks like it's fluttering off the page. Okay. Oh, color combination. Oh, this card base is Granny Apple Green, Heather. Okay. So, Lemon Lime Twist is the DSP color, but I use the Granny Apple Green for the vines and the card base. Okay. And I just like the way that that works with the Lemon Lime Twist. Okay. So there is my finished card. Now, again, we can't, well, we could leave this as it is, but well, I don't know if you can see. Let me put them side by side. Can you see what I did to this card that I didn't do to this one? Can you see that? I don't know if it shows up on the camera. I added some Wink of Stella again. So I'm just going to take and brush some Wink onto my butterflies here. Now you could do this before you put it on your card. I just kind of do it after so that I don't add Wink to areas that I don't need to, right? I don't need to Wink part of this because it's hidden and my Wink is not flowing. Come on, Winky. There we go. So we're just gonna get, oh, now we're coming. Now we're working. There we go. Okay, so I'm just adding that sparkle. Okay, it probably shows up looking wet right now on the camera. As it dries, it's just gonna show up as sparkle and be so pretty. There we go. We'll add a little bit to this guy as well. Okay, and it's just the subtlest little bit of shimmer that just makes this card really pop. Okay, so that's that one. Let me just show you again. Oh, you can see it? That's awesome. Yay, I'm happy to hear that. Thanks, Heather. So on the inside of the original, I added a Whisper White panel. So again, this is just 4 by 5 1/4 anytime you want to add a layer inside your card. And on the inside, it says, keep reaching for your dreams. I will keep cheering you on. Okay, so how awesome. Like, this is the best encouragement card. I love these sentiments. So again, and remember those extra butterflies that I trimmed off? Right? So here is one of those extra butterflies. Okay, so I just added an extra one on the inside there, and I just think that that's a nice way to finish the card. Okay, so let me bring in the other two projects and clear away all my stuff here, just to give you a look again at all three. Here we go. Remove all these bits and bobs. There we go. There are your finished cards. So this stamp set is awesome on its own, okay? So if you don't have a big shot, the stamp set itself is fantastic because of all of these awesome texture stamps, okay? So many cool things you can do with it, and it's got amazing sentiment. So this is a great stamp set if you are new to crafting, you don't have a big shot yet. Awesome, awesome stamp set, okay? If you are a more seasoned crafter, and you have all the bells and whistles, this is one you want in your collection, okay? The dies are stunning, so many possibilities, and just really, really fun, okay? All right, that is all for me today, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope it is as nice and bright and sunny where you are as it is here, and that you have a fantastic week. Thanks, Heather. Thanks so much. Thanks, Margie. I'm glad you like them, and I will see you again next week. Bye, everybody.